All right, so I'm gonna show you a few tips of how you can invest in the perfect storm, so to speak, a recessionary, being that we're approaching recessionary times. So that way you can get your hands on as much rental properties as possible to say goodbye to 9 to 5. So here's an acronym I like to use, all right, ASA. The first thing you need to do is this, attractiveness. I'm not talking about all this, I'm talking about all this, your wallet, your credit. You want to make sure you look good on paper, so that way creditors, whether they're business credit card companies, whether they're mortgage lenders, or even seller financing, because I use my credit report to negotiate seller financing. I know that might sound odd, but I show you a step-by-step process how to do so, right? If you're curious to know more about creative financing, seller financing, just check the link below in the description to learn more. But you got to make sure your credit and your income are attractive. Because if your credit's looking ugly, meaning you got collections, charge-offs, you have bankruptcies, evictions, high debt utilization, a lender, especially in a storm, in a perfect storm, right, recessionary times, they may be hesitant to lend to you, okay? Not saying that you can't do real estate, not saying that you can't fix it. Of course, we have the resources to help you, but just to prepare for the perfect storm, bring your umbrella. In other words, meaning make sure you look attractive. Make sure your credit looks squeaky clean. The other thing is this. To look attractive, you gotta make sure you got the money, meaning you look good on paper. Not saying that you gotta have $100,000 in the bank, but is your income documented? Do you have the W-2s, 1099s, bank statements, tax returns for the past 3 years? If you had these documents, it makes the lender open to investing with you, because what lenders like to see, especially mortgage lenders, they like to see what's called global income. Meaning this, if you buy a rental property, and let's say the tenants are not paying, the lender wants to make sure that all bases are covered to safeguard their bets. Meaning, okay, well, if the tenants don't pay, at least this person has global income, meaning he has more than one source of income. So if the tenants don't pay, he can pool another source of income to pay off his mortgage, such as he can use his paycheck, or he has stocks, he has dividends, he has other business, or he has other properties that he can leverage to buy more properties. So you want to look attractive. Now here's the second tip, it's the S. You gotta have a strategic plan. In other words, you gotta be highly focused, narrow, kind of like where we're at right now, very narrow, the point where there's no rain. You want to make sure that your investment strategy is the same way. Why? You probably heard that analogy about a magnifying glass, right? When the sun hits a piece of paper on the ground, nothing happens. When you put a magnifying glass and you focus that point on that paper, it burns. It's the same thing with your investment strategy. If you focus on narrowly a certain model of investing. At the time when I started investing, I would try to get my hands on any type of deal. Single families on the north side, the south side, the east side, the west side, multifamily. I would do buy and hold, fix and rent, or I would do wholesaling. I was doing everything under the sun. And as a result, I was getting mediocre results. But once in my third year of investing, right? Once I zeroed in and became narrowly focused, had a strategy in place, in which I was only buying a set of properties that fit a certain model, then my cash flow went through the roof. It's like an old African proverb that says, the dog that chases many foxes ends up catching none. So I stopped trying to chase tail and try to chase every single opportunity and say, you know what? I'm only focused on this type of property and this type of market, using this type of financing that yields this type of return and this type of cash flow. I'm only working with this type of lender. I'm only working with this type of agent. I'm only gonna work with this type of property inspection. Once I zeroed in, my results went through the roof. The third tip, this is the other A. You got to attack. Meaning, once you got your money together, once you got your strategy together, once you look good on paper, you're attractive. You have to embrace the storm. You have to take decisive action. You cannot be scared. Sure, the news might be saying, oh man, the sky is falling. Just look around. The rain is pouring down. This company's going out of business. That company's going out of business. It's an economic downturn. Everyone, hold tight to your savings. Don't spend any money. No, you gotta be on attack mode because these properties are at a discount and you cannot be scared. But this is the reason why you get scared. The reason why you get scared is this: unfamiliar territory. You're embarking upon uncharted territory. You're investing for the first time alone and maybe without a mentor. And as a result of that fear, you talk yourself out of it. But you try to convince yourself, I see what you're doing. You're trying to convince yourself that, you know what? I'm just gonna analyze it some more. Oh, I found one little thing wrong with it. I'm gonna back out. No, it's fear. You fall victim to analysis paralysis as a result of the unknown. So if you're interested in making the unknown known, so you can truly capitalize on the perfect storm to build your portfolio, so that way you can gain wealth in a recession and quit your 9-to-5 and be on attack mode, then I have a free training for you. All you have to do is just check the link below in the description. We'll be happy to help you. Now, don't just take my word for it. I have a testimony that I want you to see from one of our clients who went attack mode, took action in a recession. But hey, I'll let you hear for yourself. What do you have to say?
Oh man, I would tell anybody, like, you got to go get it. It's the best feeling in the world, because it's like, it's control. Like, at work, you have to answer to your manager, then the manager's manager, if need be, things like that. But with this, is you're the top, you're the CEO, you're the CEO of you and whatever you decide to do with your businesses. So yeah, it's awesome. Just looking at how, like, when you went over everything, when I first started following you, I saw you on YouTube and you were going through the process, and how you were just explaining all the steps of how it's good for you to do this. And so I was like, well, I should be able to do this too. And it's pretty much the same. Same thing that you did. It's just I'm probably a little bit smaller scale than you starting, but yeah, I feel like I'm right on a good path. I started right when I saw you. So I first started my first LLC March of 18. And then after that, then I opened the LLC for the first deal in April of 19. So that was the first deal. And then I just closed February 21 of, this year, on the second deal. So 11 units that fast. In terms of the cash flow, so off of a 5 unit, the cash flow was 1528 a month, 1528 off of a 150 asking price, and then I got it down to 138. So
that's nice.
So yeah, so the cash on cash is 53% cash on cash return.
So after purchasing it, you were already cash flowing, right?
Yeah, cash flowing day one.
Day one of closing. Okay. Now, did you do any value add opportunities to kind of like what we teach, to kind of see how you can maximize your cash flow as well as the valuation of the property?
Yeah, just the way I did it was that as the tenant moved out, because I deal with the like Pittsburgh Mercy people as tenants.
Oh, okay.
So as they moved out, that was guaranteed rent. So as they moved out, I had my property manager do slight improvements. So over time, I spent about $5,000. So and improving like 3 units. So so it's pretty much basic improvements, but it's worth it because it's up the rent each time, each turnover of the tenant. So even though we're in a recession, you follow the model which we teach about public assistance. So is that pretty much recession proof? Yep, recession proof, because it's been like, even with all the stops with you're hearing about on the news that they had a forbearance of rent and mortgages, things have been flowing for me like it's been no pandemic. It's just been monthly consistent cash flow, just like a bill normally comes in, but it's been money in my pocket, mailbox money. I would say just the process in getting to closing, because it's a lot different than a residential, because dealing with 5 units and up, it's commercial financing. So you get your PFS, your personal financial statement, you fill that out for the bank. And so you all went through all that with us, saying that this is what's going to happen, and you need to have all your ducks in a row. Of course, credit, you need that, because you need that to be able to get it anyway, because saving is too long anyway. So yeah, that was all just part of the ingredients to the mix. And you all were kind of just I would say more like a mentor. I wouldn't say hand holding, because you kind of had to do stuff on your own, to make sure that you know it, but you all had the guide for us to be able to follow. So I call it the yellow brick road. So I would say just going this way of going through real estate is the best way to be able to see a tangible asset being added. Like I would say, most people probably use Mint, all college grads, or, they'll probably use some kind of software to track. Like me with being a software engineer, and I didn't see a big jump I've been working since 2011 in coding. So, and then my salary's been going up, but I guess lifestyle creep comes in too. So, I never seen a big difference until I got my first property. That was the first jump that I saw. And then now the second jump, the numbers looking good on Mint. The assets bracket is going up and up. So I would tell them that just use that way of getting real estate to be able to get started, and you will see the results. You may be apprehensive, but just jump in, go get it. And yeah, and now since I see the end game, I'm like, yeah, coding is getting harder and harder, because I see how it's going to be on the other side, where I can just, not necessarily kick back, but at least be able to, utilize my time that I'll be working normally 9 to 5. I can, get back in the weight room and get all that going.
There you go.
Yeah, all the other stuff I want to do. So yeah, it's coming. So this is all the motivation I needed, is those checks. So